On the left, Jonathan Partridge, and on the right, Joseph Saxton. Um, didn't see who won the dice roll there, but I'm sure we'll find out very soon.
Yep.
We have, obviously, John has not yet won, or may not win. We don't know yet. 2-0. We're not psychic, unfortunately,
Not
and we're
yet.
not in round 8. We are just in round 1.
Yeah.
So we're just going to get that sorted, and that will be. So we've just got the okay from the judges that we are ready to go, and they will be updating as soon as the players will be starting as soon as we've passed that down. So Joseph getting out the energy reserve token. I think he probably is playing something with energy,
Yeah.
and he's playing Marvel. It looks like.
He's he's
Oh,
playing.
he's playing.
He's playing Jessica copycat of some sort. I can see I can see a Tomb of Aether, Servant of the Conduit.
Players giving a handshake before they start.
It
So
seems like John is on green black Delirium
it
of some
looks that way,
sort,
yeah.
or
And
maybe a Soul Tie build.
I think
We're
Joseph
just
might
waiting
be
for the
on
deck
the.
list now.
Yeah, I think Joseph might be on the four color Sahili copycat that we were talking about.
Just a second ago. Yep.
Um,
Look at John with his white borderlands, such a psycho. So we've got Botanical Sanctum, and most likely a Tomb of Aether. This card is so broken. It does so much for 1 mana. The energy, it allows you to play fewer lands in your deck. It allows you to play a low land count and still ensures that you hit your lands, which is just amazing.
so
John's
very
got
similar start.
mm,
Both searching for a basic. Obviously, Joseph is looking for the energy, which Attune does, and John is looking for the delirium part of the Traverse the Oven World, which lets him find a creature or any land.
mm,
Delirium being if you have 4 or more different card types in your graveyard.
yep.
There are possible 8, and only 7 of them are in standard.
Hmm.
Do you know what the 8th one is, Roy?
Tribal.
It is. There we go. Good old tribal. Who doesn't love tribal? So,
Jo-
big
jo-
card from Ether Revolt
yeah.
is this fatal push that we've been seeing. So it kills a creature with 2 or less CMC,
Yep.
and if you have Revolt, which is if a permanent has left the battlefield this turn, it kills anything that has 3 or more CMC. Sorry, 4 or less CMC. Very powerful removal spell for only a black. It's kind of forced, or not forced. It's kind of shifted the meta quite a lot. That's why Mardu is so popular, because it allows it to apply a lot of pressure and at the same time, sort of remove easy targets.
Mm.
So we're seeing an Oath of Nissa here. Look at the top 3 cards, choose a creature, land, or planeswalker, put it into your hand, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then you can also use mana of any color to play planeswalkers.
Mm.
Very good in this Sahili deck,
So
in this
even
four
even
color
though he
Sahili
doesn't
deck.
have the colours, he could play a black planeswalker right now,
Exactly.
or a white one.
And that's what we have been seeing. We have been seeing quite a few of the these Sahili decks running things like Sorin
Yep.
as a big curve
Yes,
topper.
I have seen that. Yeah, just randomly.
Yeah, very powerful though. Very
Mm-mm.
powerful effect.
John is on Sultai.
Oh, he's on Sultai. How interesting.
The payoff must be Torrential Gearhulk. Negate is huge in the format right now.
Yeah, there's so many non-creature spells floating around.
Mm.
All of the vehicles are non-creatures, planeswalkers, and even just other spells. Wanting to protect your creature, everything like this, incredibly powerful.
Yep. And here we see
So
the versatility of Felidar Guardian. It can just blink anything. You don't have to have Sahili on the board.
yeah, and here we go. He's blinking his Oath of Nissa, getting another trigger,
Yeah.
and this time he's found a Whirl of Ochooso, which again, incredibly powerful card.
Mm.
2 mana, a 3 mana 2/3, gain 3 energy, which obviously the energy deck wants, but it also allows them to play the. It also allows them to get another card. So John is playing Gonti.
Johnny's on the tech, the mad tech with Gonti, Lord of
He,
Luxury.
I know that John is an absolute advocate of Gonti. It's probably his favourite Magic card. He tries to play it in every deck he has.
Unfortunately, he's missed a land drop.
He has, but he did find an Oath of Nissa off the top. I believe. So I think next turn he's
He
going to
can.
go for an Oath of Nissa.
That would be spicy.
That's really spicy. So
John has negate in hand. He has torrential Gearhulk.
so Joseph just seeing what he's going to do this turn. It
Joseph's
looks
got a
like
lot of
he's
options.
yeah. It looks like he's
He's got
probably going to go with
multiple
this Chandra.
planeswalkers. He's got Chandra. He's got Chandra. He's got 3 Harness Lightnings.
It's a lot. If he
This is
needs
round 1. This is round 1.
if he needs to harness some lightning, he definitely
He
has
can, he
has
can,
access to that.
yeah, he can definitely fry a few Gontis. But maybe this Chandra's gonna, no, she's
Ooh,
gonna
she's
tick
going up.
up.
Ah, she's going to go up for some mana so that he can then harness lightning.
Yeah, nice plays there. Very fluent.
Ooh, that was a Liliana off the top. So
Was
Liliana's very good right now. There's no
she
creatures
is?
on the field, so she'll be able to kind of get down, start doing her business, ticking up, maybe even ticking down, getting
Yep.
back that Gonti. John finding a
He
land
really
off.
needed that land. He really needed that land.
Yeah, with Gearhulk stranded in hand, it's a
Yeah,
bit too much. Unfortunately, he doesn't have double blue yet,
he
which is a
doesn't.
bit of an issue. But he can still work with what he's got.
He,
Opting to not play his Liliana this turn,
yeah,
probably looking to hold it up, play it next turn with negate backup if he needs, or
yeah,
if he draws a second blue source, he can even just keep it up with the.
yeah.
He could just keep up Gearhulk.
He does have a few removal spells. I think he's got a murder. He's got multiple negates as well. We
So
did not ignore your diss on John. We didn't get a say in this one actually. They were just in the feature match area, and we thought Sailor V. We'll let John go. I do know Joseph from the past. He has played it in a lot of high level events, big in the London scene a few years back as well. So I thought we'd just roll with it.
So I believe that was a Chandra plus exiled the Rogue Refiner
Yep.
from the top of his library, and he gets to play that. Um, Chandra being one of very few planeswalkers who gets 4 abilities instead of just the usual 3.
Yep.
Um,
John with the Ruinous Path on Chandra. That was quite big. She was 1 away from ultimate.
yeah, and Ruinous Path is a card we haven't seen much of recently.
Yeah, it dipped in popularity mainly because just murder and fatal push, instant
Yeah,
speed.
instant speed removal was just better a lot of the time, and unfortunately the format is a bit too fast that sorcery speed removal was good enough. Um, and the kind of the planeswalkers before that you wanted to kill were things like Gideon, who has already made a creature when he comes down.
Mm,
So
mm.
removing him is, you get him off the table, but he's still got a 2/2 behind that you don't really have the same value as something like Hero's Downfall.
There's some good plays here by Joe. He knows that John has a negate. He's obviously screaming it out with the 2 mana there. He's playing all the creatures, just going to overwhelm him and just hit him for 2s and 3s and 5s every turn with all these guys.
Yeah, and this is really good by Joseph. He's completely ignoring the
He has 9 energy. He can make a ton of Fopters and just crash in. None of these creatures can be killed by John's Liliana, which is a bit of a shame for him.
yep. And Joseph is just gonna start making some Thopters with his Whirler Virtuoso.
Mm,
Very good against these kind of green blacky mid-rangey decks. They don't really run any sweepers.
no.
Sweepers aren't really in the format right now, other than Fumigate in some of the
Yeah,
Mardu
his
lists.
expertise isn't bad in John's deck because he can expertise and then he can put in
A Liliana.
a Liliana or an Oath if he's playing it, or murder something bigger. Joseph just applying the pressure, all the pressure on the with these creatures. Yeah. Unfortunately, John missed the land. He needs to sideboard in some sort of sweeper to deal with this. Let's see if he has it in his sideboard. He does. He does have 3 copies of Yahini's expertise.
So it looks like
We're still trying to get a deck list as well.
yes, we unfortunately there are quite a few players, and the judges do have to deck check everything first. But we will be talking over the deck lists as soon as we have them. Um, any if you're looking for a deck list from the event, they won't be available until the end of the day, where I believe all top 8 or top 4 deck lists will be posted on Darksphere.
Yep.
We will,
And on the Wizards main page as well, they always
yes,
publish the top 8, sometimes the top 16.
yeah. So hopefully, if John makes that, then you'll be able to catch his list. Unfortunately, we don't have it to be able to give out.
If people want in the chat, we can do a deck tech with him. We can get him in for one of those
Yep,
in between rounds. Nice to see something different. I believe that Torrential Gearhulk is like one of the best cards, or in the top 5 best cards of the format.
certainly, it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
Um,
very versatile.
yeah, exactly. Being able to flashback anything from a murder to a glimmer of genius,
Mm.
even
To a counter spell.
exactly, and it leaves behind a 5/6,
Yep.
which is quite big.
Mm.
Quite a lot of decks can't really deal with that very well.
Mm.
Obviously, we did see the Harness Lightning if Joseph does have enough energy, but he wants to be saving that energy and using it for something else, like his Whirler Virtuoso. You know, the Harness Lightning is mainly for taking out smaller creatures, maybe the odd big one here and there if it's a bit too scary otherwise.
Joseph going with that controversial pile shuffle. I say controversial because they just changed the policy on pile shuffling, so you can only do it once per game now. So there's three
Yes,
games in a match, and you can do it at the start of each one. Oh, we've just got a
and
deck
we've
list as
just been
well.
handed the deck lists, so do you want the full color Sahili or the Bug Delirium?
I'll do the Sahili because that's what I've played with the most. Alright, so looking at Joseph's list, very standard. 4 Whirler Virtuoso, 4 Veladier Guardian, 4 Rogue Refiner, 4 Servant of the Conduit, 4-3-1 of Sahili Chandra and Tamio Field Researcher. Tamio's very good with the tokens from Whirler Virtuoso. And then he's got Oath of Nissa times 4, 3 Oath of Chandra, 4 Attuned with Ether, 4 Harness Lightning. So this deck has been very, very popular online. A lot of people have been playing it. I was going to say everyone, but not everyone. In his sideboard, we have an additional Tamio, 2 Barol's Expertise, which they usually bring in for the black-green matchup, 2 Release the Gremlins, 2 Natural State, 2 Authority of the Consoles, 2 Tireless Tracker, 3 Negate, and 1 Dispel. So a very standard list there from Joseph, but a very tried and tested one from the online meta.
Yep, so John's list is incredibly interesting. So he's running only 3 counter spells. He's running 1 disallow and 2 negates. But, and this is very interesting, he's running 1 copy of Sky Sovereign Consul Flagship in his main deck.
That card's a beast. It wrecks Planeswalkers.
Exactly, and he's running a total of 1 Gonti, 1 Noxious Gearhulk, 2 Ishkana, 3
Ishkana's good.
Tireless Tracker, 1 Rogue Refiner, and and 2 Torrential Gearhulks. So, very interesting creature base.
It seems like so. The problem with sometimes these controlling mid-range decks is if their answer doesn't line up well to the threat, they're a problem. Like if he has an Ishkanar, that can block all his stuff for days, including the Fopters. But if he doesn't, the Fopters can overwhelm him, like what happened just then.
Yep, so from his sideboard, he's got 1 Disallow, 2 Pick the Brain, 1 Gonti, 1 Jace, Unraveler of Secrets,
Nice.
1 Obnixilus Reignited, 1 Negate, 2 Flaying Tendrils, 2 Transgress the Mind, 2 Appetite for the Unnatural, 1 Lost Legacy, and 1 Torrential Gearhulk. So we're probably going to be seeing the
Flame Tendrils, possibly.
potentially, although it doesn't kill that much, it only really kills the Thopters and the Rogue Refiners.
It do Servant of the Conduit randomly.
And it
If it's on
does,
the
that
board.
is true. Most likely going to see the Lost Legacy and the Pick the Brains. They're incredibly good. The negate, the third copy of the negate, the second copy of the disallow, maybe something like the second Gonti.
Mm.
You know, just
Unfortunately, John's mulligan here is going down to 6. If anyone in the chat want to recommend players, if you know any of your friends here, if you want to see anyone on screen, give us a shout as well.
we will be, as much as we will try, we will only be featuring the current winning players if possible.
Yep.
If, however, it's kind of the top 4 tables or top 3 tables aren't playing for the final round, but we might get the 4th or the 5th depending on how it's breaking down.
Yeah, it's always awkward when you scry a card to the top and then you lead with Evolving Wilds.
Yeah, that's.
But you got to do what you got to do in Magic.
I know, and I think John, it might be a land so that John can kind of
Yep,
play the land and then
he did indeed do that.
yeah.
It would be
So
quite cool if he had Fatal Push now. I can't quite see his hand. John's keeping it tucked in.
I've definitely seen
Crack the land, Fatal Push anything you want.
yeah, I've definitely seen a ruinous path, and I think I saw a murder as well.
Mm.
So he's able to fight kind of most of the stuff that Joseph will be playing,
Mm.
but you know we don't really know what he's gonna do yet. Can't really see his hand either. He's fetched a white source, which makes you think he probably has a Felidar Guardian in hand.
Yep. Or maybe that's just the colour he's missing. But there's the power of Return. It just gets you anything you want. Easily allows you to play 4 colours,
I'm gonna
as
see the
does the
Servant of the
Servant of the
Conflict.
Conduit. I like the white border lands. I started playing in 8th or 9th edition. They're the ones I got at home.
Bring you back to your youth.
Yeah.
Got to play something like that. So, two cards I missed out from John's sideboard were Transgress the Mind, which I
Ooh,
believe he just actually does
spicy.
have in
He
hand, which he's
does,
going to
yeah.
play there. um,
The information's value. Ooh, 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 ooh.
ooh,
What would you take, Shaysky?
I would probably. Depends if I boarded in Flaying Tendrils,
Mm.
because if I have, then I'll be taking the Whirl of Virtuoso, and if I haven't, then I'll be taking this Rogue Refiner. Whirl of Virtuoso is an incredibly powerful card, but I think the extra card from the Rogue Refiner is probably just a bit too.
It
And it
it
by
honestly
itself,
it just what makes the deck tick because you're always replacing like a Tomb of Ether replaces itself. Well, a Virtuoso makes guys. Challenger can draw cards. Rogue Refiner replaces itself.
yeah, and unfortunately for John, Joseph has just top deck Chandra
Yeah, that was a
after that
beating.
Transgress the
That was a
Mind,
beating.
which he is going to be able to play this turn because he does have 4 energy off his Attune with Ether and the Servant of the Conduit.
Yeah,
We're going to see that now, and think, I think John has a Ruinous Path in hand,
he does. He
so
does.
he might he might take a couple points of damage now, but I think he's not too worried about this Chandra because it's not gonna. Oh, and Joseph exiled a negate off of his
Mm,
very powerful card in this matchup,
mm.
but it means that John knows that his opponent doesn't have one anymore, and
There's the
there's
ruinous
that
path.
Ruinous Path that we were talking about.
Does
So,
John have the fourth land?
oh no, he doesn't, and again he's stuck on lands. So he's been keeping these quite slow lowland hands. This time he doesn't have any green, so he can't even traverse if if he's
Mm.
stuck on lands, which is very unfortunate.
If he
But
got blue though, he must have some sort of negate in his hand. I believe he has Glimmer of Genius in hand.
right, so he's probably just hoping to hit that fourth land, and then he can, glimmer at the end of turn or whenever he needs to. And we see Joseph with 2 Whirl of Virtuosos. So he drew a Whirl of Virtuoso for the turn, and then drew a second one of the Rogue Refiner. John has no idea that that's coming, and
He's found the green.
that's going to be incredibly powerful for him. So
He's found the green, but he can't do. I believe he can't do much.
no, he does have a murder. So
He's
he's going
going.
to
He's
murder.
opting to murder. I mean, you got to do what you got to do sometimes in Magic.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to see these double Whirl of Virtuosos playing coming. Would you just drop them both? I think you do, don't you?
Yeah.
You know your opponent doesn't really have any Wrath effects that
Joseph playing it safe though.
yeah. So attacking for 2 and then play the Whirl of Virtuoso. He's on, I believe, 7 energy now or
Mm.
8 energy. Quite a lot of energy. John is opting to Glimmer in his main phase so that he can hopefully find a 5th land.
Yeah, desperately needs to play that for fifth land. We see a Grasp of Darkness and a Tireless Tracker.
Yes, we are currently in round 1. At the bottom of the screen, it does say which round we are on as well, if you're unsure. But we will keep that updated throughout the day. So, oh, and a Felidar Guardian off the top for Joseph. So, quite a big turn, attacking for a bunch of damage, and probably play the second Whirl of Virtuoso or play the rogue the copycat as we call it.
He's got a lot of options. You could play the Felidar and just blink something as he's doing that, or you can keep it and hope to play Felidar and Sahili Rai in
Yep.
one turn and just win if John taps out for the Ishkanar that's in his hand. Or
And
nah,
John unfortunately
unfortunately,
has conceded. He couldn't hit his 5th land even
no.
after the Glimmer. Missed, and 4 draws missed a 5th land. Um, Unfortunately, if he'd had the fifth land, he would have been able to play the Ishkana. He probably had Delirium at that point, I think. So, even if not, still a big creature, 3/5,
Mm.
was blocking all of Joseph's stuff, but unfortunately he didn't get there. So we're just gonna bring it back to the booth, and then hi, I'm Shay Holland. This is Roy Raftery.
Hello.
We are just finished round one.
Yep.
Very interesting round. We've got to see a new deck, something that
Straight away.
it's been up and down. It's been kind of around, but
There's
nothing too
there's
solid.
definitely an engine, a core, a deck there with Sultai. With
Yes.
Torrential Gear Hulk bringing back counter spells, kill spells, and draw spells
Yep.
in negates, disallow, murders, fatal push, and Chimera Genius. You just got these cards just line up really well on the curve.
Yep.
So there's definitely something there. Definitely something there, and it's nice to see it. Someone testing it and bringing it to the regional.
Yeah, and it's good because the green is very good because you get things like Traverse the Uvenwald, you
Mm.
get to run Grapple with the pass, which is a
Mm.
very good card, especially with Torrential Gear Hulk. You can flash back your Grapple if you need to.
It gives you more options.
Gives you a lot more
A lot more
options.
options.
Vessel of Nascency to kind of turn on the Delirium.
Did John play that?
He was playing two, yes. We didn't see any, but he is playing two.
Mm.
Ishkana,
Yep.
incredibly powerful at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Being able to make four creatures effectively.
Yep.
All of them can block.
Mm.
They can block flyers as well. They've all
Mm.
got reach.
And it can win. It can
It can win the
It
game
can
by
do
itself.
the spider drain.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, by themselves they attack for 6 damage,
Yeah.
and then they drain for an additional 4 when you've got that 7 mana.
Yeah.
So
How did you kill? How did you get killed? Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spiders. Just got drained.
yeah, so that is something that does happen.
It is.
But yeah, very interesting list. We'll try and get John in for a deck tech later.
Mm.
And for now, we've got quite a bit of time left on the round.
We could always see if there is someone who have just finished up a game and can move into the feature match. We could
Yep.
do that.
So what we'll do is we'll just take you to the holding screen for now, while we find potentially another round,
Mm.
another game to watch, and we will
I'll
be
quickly
back.
rush off.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have another feature match for you. This time we have Charles Rossett on the left versus Kaio Patel on the right. This is game three, but unfortunately, Charles got a game loss for a misregistration on his deck list.
And he won game one though.
But he did win game
He won
one,
game
so
one. The scores are just the wrong way around, so we'll just update that for you. Charles is playing the same deck you saw before, the Jeskai Sahili copycat deck, and in his deck name he's named it Rock Paper Scissors Lizard. Patel is playing. It looks like Mardu vehicles. Patel
yeah,
a very good player, GP champion.
yep, GP Bologna that was
It was.
last year.
Yep.
Was it last year or the year before? I believe it was last year.
Last year it was Eldrazi. He
It
played
was
I
Eldrazi
was playing.
Eldrazi Spring, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We tested for many GPs together in the past like 5 years.
yeah, so Kaya running what looks to be an Anguished Unmaking. That's probably out of his sideboard.
Yep.
Um,
It snips up any planeswalkers.
yeah,
Yeah.
very powerful.
Yep.
So
I mean,
he's playing the Ballista
realistically,
version.
when you're playing Spire of Industry and Scrap Heap's Grandeur and cards like this, you can just play anything you want. Any
Yeah.
single mana cards.
So
Authority of the Consoles. Here's a good one.
yeah, so this is very powerful in these Sahili against these Sahili decks, because they shut down the combo.
Yep.
Because so Authority of the Consoles is creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped, and whenever a creature enters the control under your opponent's turn, you gain 1 life. So as we see here, Charles played the Whirler Virtuoso, but he played he made a Thopter in response to the Authority, so it didn't come in tapped, and Kaya didn't gain the life. And then Oath of Chandra came down and killed the Whirler Virtuoso. Again, Oath of Chandra, this card that we've been talking about in these Mardu lists,
Yep.
very powerful. It's a kill spell that also can kind of push through that final couple points of damage when needed.
Yep.
Kaya is obviously playing the Ballista version.
Yep.
He is running the 3 Oath of Chandra, 3 Oath of Liliana in the sideboard.
Which we assume he's boarded in.
We assume he's boarded at least.
Patel he
at least the
top
Chandra's
decked an Ether Hub that allows him to go to town with the Planeswalkers in his hand, and he's got a lot as well.
Yeah, he's got, I believe, a Chandra and a Gideon.
And a Gideon, yeah. So take your pick.
Yep.
He's
So
probably going to go for the Gideon to make a knight. What else? Let's see what else he has. And yeah, the Gideon comes down. If he played the Chandra, he could have ticked it up, but then it could have got attacked. If he ticks it down to kill the Rogue Refiner, then the Thopter kills it off. So Gideon just seemed like the best play.
oh, we're seeing
shock.
a shock. That's very good. That allows Charles to actually attack into this Gideon and kill it this turn. Something Kaya probably wasn't really expecting, because he probably thought that his Knight token would be staying around. Wasn't really expecting the shock. Very nice shock that was. The old whiteboarded art. Very pretty.
Yeah.
So there we go. We see Gideon getting killed. But, I mean, if you look at the life totals, Kaya's on, it looks like 20. Charles is on 15. You know, so
He's spamming out these Rogue Refiners as
he
well.
is, but Kaya's just ticking it out. You know, getting the incremental advantage each turn. We're probably going to see maybe the Chandra this turn.
But to be fair, the Chandra doesn't do much when it's facing down 7 points worth of power.
No, unfortunately not. But it depends. If Kaya draws another land that he can play, he could potentially play the Chandra plus the Chandra, and then use a removal spell from his hand.
Yes, he does.
Because he does have an Unlicensed
Disintegration.
Disintegration. And we're seeing a Toolcraft Exemplar.
How do you feel about this, Shay, when they have these 4 mana Planeswalkers and these 1 mana cards, 1 mana creatures? I mean, it's not doing a lot now, the Freeman Inspector. There's no artifacts on the battlefield, so the Toolcraft Exemplar that he just top decked is just a 1/1.
Yeah, so that's what's quite interesting about this matchup is typically from what I've been seeing of the gameplay, they've kind of originally they cut the veteran motorists for the Walking Ballista. They found that it's a much better card, it's much more versatile, it does a lot more. But then the post sideboard they tend to cut the one drops that don't do anything, so to speak. Your Toolcraft Exemplar, sure, you can still have the games where you go turn one Toolcraft Exemplar, turn 2 Heart of Kieran, hit you for 3, untap, play a creature, attack you for 7. But that's not what you're trying to do in game 2 and 3
Mm.
when you've boarded into your more mid-rangey thing. So I think the Toolcraft exemplar probably wants to be out
Mm.
for this matchup. Maybe Kaya bring didn't have enough stuff to bring in.
That's what I was
Maybe he
going to
knows the
suggest.
matchup better than I do.
Yep.
So I unfortunately I haven't had a chance to play the Mardy Ballista deck, so I wouldn't really be able to say exactly why he's left these Toolcraft exemplars in.
Yep.
Obviously, Thraben Inspector is incredibly good.
Mm.
Uh, when it's when you bring it in, when you play it, sorry, it makes a clue. The clue you can use to draw a card whenever you have additional mana. But it looks like Charles is going to play. Oh wow, Tamio.
This was a spicy one.
Yep. So this is something that these four color decks have been playing a lot of recently. Tamio, very powerful card. It's
Mm.
+2 is choose up to two target creatures. Whenever they deal combat damage, you draw a card.
Mm.
And then -2, as we've seen here, is tap two up to two target non-land permanents.
Mm.
They don't untap during the next untap step.
Yep.
And Charles is just going for the race here.
Mm.
He's just saying, I see you're an aggro deck. I don't care. I'm just going to beat you down with my two Rogue Refiners and my Thopter.
You have a 3/2 first strike, which kills all my guys, but I'll tap it down for a few extra turns.
Yeah, and I mean, this can be tapped down for what, 4 turns now?
Yeah.
Which is incredibly powerful. If I'm Kaya, I'm probably playing my Chandra this turn. Potentially, I mean, it's not great, but probably killing a Rogue Refiner.
Well, if he plays his Chandra, he can use
He
the
can
Oath of
also kill the
Chandra to do
Tamio.
the 2 damage onto Tamio
Yep.
before Charles gets to reset it with, say, a Felidea Guardian.
Yep. He can also, which is very interesting, play his Chandra, tick it up, play the Heart of Kiran. It kills the Tamio,
I think.
and then he can remove a counter
Yes.
in his opponent's turn to block with his Heart of Kiran.
I'm just going to play 16 spells this turn and then just enjoy my life and kill half your guys.
So I think we're going to see a tick up into the Heart of Kiran.
That was a good draw.
That was very
he
good
drew
draw
the
for
Heart of
him.
Kiran as well.
Yeah. So trigger on the Oath, kill the Tamio, and then we will see what Charles has for his turn. I mean, if he had another Tamio, this would just be absolutely backbreaking.
Mm.
But we'll see what he's.
That's the
Can't
power
really
of the
see what
Rogue
he's drawn.
Refiners, though. I mean, they just keep your hand fresh. They keep you drawing cards,
And they're a 3/2.
and they're free to. Oh, he's going to be releasing some Gremlins.
Yep. So very very powerful draw.
I misread this card when it first came out. I thought it was kill an artifact, they get a 2/2.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's not very good.
No, it's referred. This card's referred to as there's an ape back in the day.
Pongify.
No. There's an ape, and it's I believe it's 3 mana, and you can pay XX to destroy an artifact, and it's a 2/2. So a lot of the time we see this is this ape.
Or Manic Vandal. The
Manic Vandal.
yeah,
Yep.
3 mana, 2/2,
3 mana, 2/2.
destroys an artifact, common.
Yep.
From like M10, M11, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was around that time. M10, M11.
But
Very powerful card.
we see a attack. I think attack with every. I'm not sure who
Attack
he's
for
attacking.
7, I think.
We ain't got. It's attack for 7, but we don't know who he's attacking. We don't have Sand, unfortunately, for this one.
No, I think. I mean, if Kaya's.
He wants to keep the Chandra alive.
Yeah, so if it's an attack at Chandra, he's probably blocking with his
With the Thraben Inspector.
with his Thraben Inspector.
He's done enough inspecting for one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He found out that it was Emrakul all along.
It was Emrakul.
And she had to get swiftly banned.
How many clues did he need? Or she need? He's
So it
thinking.
looks like it was an attack at the life.
It was.
So Kaya down to 11. Obviously, this authority of the consoles is kind of keeping him bobbing at a life total.
His hand is stacked with multiple removals and Chandra, so he can play everything, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he can play everything.
He can play
that's
2
what he's up
removal
to.
spells this turn, so he's probably going to kill the 2 Rogue Refiners.
Mm.
He doesn't have an artifact, unfortunately, anymore,
No.
which means he doesn't get to deal the 6 damage as well.
That would be spicy.
That would have been really powerful.
Yeah.
But I think he's probably still okay, just, playing...
Yeah, he can. If he wants, he can get an attacking with the Toolcraft Exemplar for 1. Or
Yeah.
because the Thalia blocks all these guys, she slices them up with her first strike.
She does.
She's always had first strike, this card.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, he's gone
He's
for the
deciding
tick down.
to tick down and do 4 damage. Rather than he's keeping the cards in his hand, using what he has on the battlefield, allowing his opponent to make attacks that he might not make had he had just
Otherwise, yeah.
killed.
I think we're probably just going to see an attacking with the Thopter here. Yep, Mox Monkey, that was the card.
Mm.
Gorilla Shaman was its real name. It was a 1/1, sorry, for 1, but you could pay XX to destroy. I think it might have been XX red or
What set was that
XX red.
from? That was a bit before my time.
I think it was Antiquities. A
Antiquities.
very old set. The only reason I know of it is from some friends who play Vintage were showing it to me and were talking about it because it kills Moxon quite well.
Yeah, he's
Mox Monkey.
Mox Monkey.
So as we saw there, Kaya was just using one of his removal
Unlicensed
spells
integrations on
to
the Well of Virtuoso.
yes, very powerful card that was.
Mm.
And he did it in response to the energy trigger
That
as
Gideon's
well.
good.
So that Gideon is very good.
It's going to gum up the board.
Yeah, and this Chandra is putting in some serious work right now.
Yeah. He's got a lot of options. Uptick the Chandra for mana, or uptick it for a card. He's going to go for the card.
Yep. Didn't see what he
deck's
set
just
child.
off screen, so unfortunately we can't see. But I'm going to say it's a land. Let's just say it's a land because he's instantly done 2 damage.
It's something
to
that he
him.
doesn't want to play.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play it.
He's more than happy to play this Gideon.
It's not on the screen. It's in the ether somewhere.
Yeah, it's just off screen, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's in the ether of the internet. We'll go with that. Shay just looking up Gorilla Shaman.
Yeah.
He's invested in this card now.
This card is so good.
Right, so Patel made a knight, passed the turn, done 2 damage with the Oath for Chandra trigger.
Yep.
Passed
So-
it back. Unfortunately, Charles just attacking with his
Thopter
Thopter
into
and no plays. So maybe he's got lands in hand or negates. Usually, when a player passes, they have released the gremlins. They're just waiting for you to play artifacts so they can release more gremlins on you.
yeah, and unfortunately for Charles, Kaya doesn't actually have any artifact right now. I think what we're probably going to see is uptick on Chandra, exile the top card, see what it is.
Mm.
Kaya, you can see him just doing some mental arithmetic at the moment.
Yep.
So he can guarantee the 2 damage with the Chandra, so that leaves Charles on 8. And then making Gideon into a creature, killing the Rogue Refiner, and attacking with everything, I think is 7 damage. So it leaves Charles on 1. That's probably where you want your your aggro deck to put your opponent. An Elder Deep Fiend. So
We couldn't quite see his hand.
no, so we're gonna see 3 creatures tapped and the Gideon attack.
This card is
tapped.
so good right now.
So powerful.
It's essentially, sometimes, in this circumstance, it's been a time walk. Like, in a sense that it saved him life. It's like half a time walk.
Yeah,
You still
it's,
get to make some stuff. I'm not quite sure what I can compare it to right now. Like, fully.
so we're gonna
But it's
see
gonna
this
save him a lot.
unlicensed disintegration on the
Yeah.
the
That squid, man. It
the
can't be.
squid.
It can't be left there.
no,
Swiftly dispatched.
no, it would be making swift work of either of these
Either
two
of these
planeswalkers.
planeswalkers. Is Patel remembering his triggers of the gaining 1 life every time a creature comes into play?
I think he forgot it on the Elder Deep Fiend this
Yeah.
turn. He has with the others. He's been very good, but I think this turn he's forgotten it on the Elder Deep Fiend.
It happens, especially when he's put a card on top of it. It's quite easy to forget. And look at his battlefield as well.
So much stuff. Seeing another Well of Virtuoso. He's remembered this time, I believe.
Yep.
Kaio hadn't gone to his combat step, so I believe this was in his main phase.
Yep.
Which, if he hadn't tapped the Gideon, it would have allowed Kaio to activate his Gideon, and Gideon would have become a 5/5 creature that would have been able to attack. Charles would have most likely had to have blocked, because that's such a powerful effect. And obviously Kaio hadn't played anything, so if he attacks for 5, takes it, and then Kaio just has another Planeswalker.
So if Charles has nothing in his hand, it's game over. Because he has 1 card in his hand. Because he can minus Chandra, kill something. He can use the Anguished
Unlicensed.
Unmaken in his hand to remove
yeah,
something
sorry.
else and just swing for game.
Yeah.
But Patel is not stupid. He's a very cautious player. He's going to make sure everything's going according to plan before he commits. And he is going with that line of play. Down goes the Rogue Refiner. Gideon is going to jump into battle. Oh, wait. Uh,
So unfortunately, we don't have sound of the players, so we don't know exactly when he played the Elder Deep Fiend.
mm.
My guess is he would have done it before, during his main phase, or maybe during draw step or something like that. But we can't say. Maybe Kaya thought that he had the Elder Deep Fiend, kind of read him for it, and said, "Okay, I'm not going to activate my Gideon." Um,
He's playing the Scrap Heap Scrounger, so the Toolcraft Assembler gets the bonus
yep,
just to secure,
and
and
this
then
is an attack with everything,
send in the
and that's the
clowns.
handshake.
That'll do
So
it.
Kaya with a 2-1 win.
Mm.
Unfortunately, because that was game 3,
Mm.
but unfortunately Charles had the game lost for his deck red error, so he was unable to secure the game 3. We'll bring it back to the booth briefly. We'll just have a. So I'm Shay Holland. This is Roy Raftery.
Hello.
And that was round 1 of the Dark Sphere RPTQ.
Yep.
Um,
For
as we
Proto Armor Cat.
for Proto Armon Cat, we saw 2 Sihili decks,
Mm.
1 Mardu Ballista, and 1 Sultai Delirium.
Delirium Control mid range cards. Good cards.
We have heard from the head judge, Thomas Ralph, that we are a Ballista meta today. So we're probably going to be seeing quite a few more Ballistas on camera. You just saw it take down the Sihili deck.
Speaking of which,
Yep.
what do you think about bannings?
Interesting.
It's next week, right?
It is.
Monday.
It's not Monday the 6th, it's Monday the 13th. So
Woo!
it's the Monday after GP Barcelona.
Which all my friends are going to, but I'm not because I have to work.
Yep.
So my friends can go.
Yep.
I drew the short straw.
You draw the short straw. Looking after the shop.
Yep.
Some of you may or may not know Roy is part owner of Legion City, singles shop based in Dark Sphere. They sell many singles. If you give them a message or come
Facebook,
down,
website.
have a look. If they have it in stock,
We'll try our best.
they'll try their best.
So they're all going to the GP, of which the meta will be what you see today. The bans happen the Monday after, which is always exciting. But Shay, what do you think will be banned, if anything, or what do you think will be unbanned?
I don't think they'll unban anything. There's talks that maybe they'll unban Copter. I don't think they want the Mardu decks to have both Copter and Heart of Kiran.
No.
I think it would be interesting to see if we have the either Heart of Kiran banned. There's talks of Gideon being too powerful. It gives the deck that resiliency that we haven't really. Aggro decks kind of usually don't have a resiliency. They kind of go play all my creatures, get Wrath, lose the game.
In the past, it was like a Savannah Lion, some sort of 2/2 like Black or White Knight, not Black Knight, White Knight, Glorious Anthem,
Yeah,
and just attack, and then they get wrapped, and they're like, oh well, I had fun.
yeah,
But now they have just, as Magic has progressed, these kind of decks kind of still do that, but they draw cards, but they have an end game, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what Game 1 of Mardu Vehicles is. It plays 1/1s, it plays 2/2s, plays 2/3s, but then with what with the clues, what with Veteran Motorsmith to scry, and cards like that, it essentially grinds out and has the extra card that in the past decks like that wouldn't,
yeah, and that's
which
something
makes
that
it one of the best decks.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing with the sort of dominance of Mardu has been because of this kind of late game.
So that's
Before-
where you're coming from, saying if they banned Gideon,
or even the Heart of Kiran,
Yeah.
both incredibly powerful. Heart of Kiran being a 2-mana 4/4
Mm.
that's attacking on turn 3, which is so powerful. Every creature in the deck is crewing it almost. Even if you've gone like turn 1 Thraben Inspector, turn 2 Heart of Kiran, you can go turn 3 any creature with 2 or more power,
And just-
crew the vehicle, attack.
Yep.
You have things like we said, the Thraben Inspector, which gets a clue, which you can then use late game when you've got some spare mana to draw an additional card. Incredibly efficient removal. So you've got your fatal pushes, you've got your unlicensed disintegrations, and obviously now with the Walking Ballista, that's incredibly versatile. People see Walking Ballista and they think, oh, it's Hangerback Walker. Very different. Hangerback Walker was very good in it was a very good card, but decks that were trying to go wide, it was very good.
It's a new type of card. Both
Yes,
cards went under the radar when they first come out. Both cards are like $2 rares below
within the first week, and
because they
then
were like, oh, people didn't know how to evaluate XX artifact creatures, especially in a world of delirium, in a world where artifacts matter, etc.,
yep,
etc. So they just didn't know how to understand these cards. And Walking Ballista, people they caught onto it
with
because of Hangerback Walker, because of the cost, because of what you could do.
yeah, and they caught onto it as well. We saw the first deck that was running Walking Ballista was the green black Delirium, the
Yeah.
green black energy decks.
From the Pro Tour.
Yep, running Winding Constrictor, who was the 2-mana 2/3 snake. Snake. It would, whenever a creature or an artifact you control would have a counter placed on it, it gets an additional one of those counters. If you would get a counter, you'd also get an additional counter.
Yeah.
Not as relevant in standard, other
No,
than
no,
for
no.
energy.
Yeah.
In modern, it does not
Poison?
tie very nicely with infect.
Mm.
So infect, the creatures will get additional -1/-1. Your creatures get additional -1/-1 counters. You get an additional poison counter.
Man,
Not really what you want to be
that's
doing.
some technology.
So donating your opponent a Winding Constrictor
Yes.
and then attacking with an infect creature.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we saw this Walking Ballista originally. But then, as we've seen it in the Mardu decks. It's very good. Late game, you get to 6 mana. They're on 3. Oh look, you're dead.
You're dead.
Top deck Walking Ballista,
Makes
you're dead.
combat very hard.
Yeah, makes combat very hard. A mana sink,
Mana
because you
sink.
can pay 4 mana.
Yeah.
And, if you have 8 mana, you can activate twice. It doesn't tap to do. Very powerful effect.
So what we're saying is Mardu Vehicles, obviously the best deck. Obviously you have to prepare for it for Barcelona.
Yeah.
Potentially if anything's going to get banned, it'll come from there. Maybe Wizards will do something different and restrict something to 2. Have we ever seen something like that? I don't think we have.
I think the only format that
Well,
has
certainly
restrictions.
not in my day.
No, I
Of
don't
like
think we've.
standard
Yeah,
or,
I don't
or
think.
extended. Back
I
when
think
played.
only Legacy, Vintage. Sorry,
Vintage.
has restricted.
Yeah.
Obviously that's the power and some
That
other
would- that would be such a
incredibly
twist.
powerful cards.
I wonder if I can put a bet on that at like Betfred or something. I don't know. Bet safe
Maybe.
for Wizards to restrict Heart of Kieran to 1. That would be good.
But would you restrict the Heart of Kieran or would you restrict the Gideon? That's the question. That's the real.
First of all, I don't think anything's going to be unbanned. Nothing's
No.
going to be unbanned. In terms of what's going to be banned, you can make an argument for any of the cards we've said because it just makes this deck very consistent. This deck is obviously the best deck in the format, 50+% of the meta game. The next up is Felidar Guardian.
Yep.
Now, first of all, we don't think these cards should be banned or they shouldn't. These are just opinions. These are what we heard from players. It's just us
The
talking.
talk,
Just
essentially.
just theorizing. So from Wizards' perspective of the Guardian, is it limits deck creativity. So whether you're casual or competitive or semi, you always have to worry about being comboed out by a bloody cat.
And that was their reason for banning Splinter Twin in Modern.
Yes.
Splinter Twin obviously was at the time an incredibly dominant deck. Even though it was maybe putting up 20-30% of the meta, it was always, you'd always see at least 2 or 3 copies in the top 8. It would usually win GPs. It was such a powerful effect. But what we're looking at now, people are likening it to Splinter Twin, but it's only likened to Splinter Twin in the terms of it can kill you without interaction. But the problem is you have to play a Planeswalker on turn 3,
Yep.
let it survive a turn, play a creature on turn 4, and hope that they don't have any removal or any damage effects.
Well, fundamentally, it's a different format in the sense that Modern was so diverse.
Yeah.
Standard isn't diverse, so you've got 2 to 3 decks.
Yeah.
So you're always with Modern, you can be like, maybe I just won't play against Splinter Twin. Maybe I'll concede that matchup because it wasn't always the best deck. It wasn't always as popular as it got to be. So you can forego certain matchups like, I'm not going to play Fulminator Mage because I don't care about Tron.
Yeah.
I'm only going to play a few cards that interact with Twin, but they also interact with other cards. You can't do that in Standard.
No.
You're going to be like, I'm definitely going to face this deck at least 2 times today. I have to, secure some sideboard slots to this deck. Otherwise, I'm just going to lose. So they could ban the Guardian for those reasons, and because Wizards don't want a new player coming into the game, playing out their deck and being killed by an infinite combo that they might not understand because there's no tokens. When Philadelphia's Guardian blinks something and Sahili puts a token of something, there's nothing to represent that. So you'd be like, make infinite tokens, attack you for 29 million, and the opponent's like, what? And then you have to explain it to them. So it works on multiple levels. It's deck creativity, it's the friendliness for the format. Um, Also, this is a very good point. They have to be careful what they print in the future. If they print any other like blink effects, then Philadelphia Guardian can work with that, and it could be too powerful. Similarly, how they banned Birthing Pod in Modern because they had to watch what enter the battlefield creatures they made for Modern. Because when Siege Rhino was printed, Pod was by far the best deck because it could do anything. It could combo, it could go aggro, it could burn, it could gain life, it could do it all. So
Yeah.
they've got to be worried about that when printing a cards, when just making new cards,
And the thing with
and that's an aggravation, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the thing with standard is that the format is quite limited in terms of the number of cards. You know, you have maybe a maximum of 6 sets at any one time, which is I don't know the exact numbers. It's probably close to uh, 1,200 cards
Yeah,
ish.
big sets have like 370, small sets have like 250.
Yeah, so maybe a bit more, maybe 1,500 ish, but you know, not a huge pool um, of cards. So any deck creativity is usually quite solved relatively fast.
Yeah.
And which ends up happening is you, like you said, you just have these 2 or 3 dominant decks right at the top. Um, any deck that you then build has to beat these decks. So you know you're
Yeah.
gearing your deck. Can I beat a turn 2 Heart of Kiran
Yeah.
that's being crewed on turn 3?
When you sit down and look at what magic cards you have, you're like, oh, if I don't have these cards that beat this, then I'm not going to FNM.
Exactly.
Then I'm not going to here.
Yeah, and that's why we've seen Fatal Push being so popular, because it's one of those cards that you play because it kills Heart of Kiran, it kills creatures. And you also see stuff like, you see things like the Saheeli decks are kind of ignoring. They're trying to hope. They're kind of looking at it and they're going, Heart of Kiran is really powerful, but I can't really play anything to kill it, so I'm just gonna play Harness Lightning, hope that it hits both, and ignore it if possible. Just try and be faster than them, or try and outvalue them, and that's where we've seen them kind of go towards this Elder Deep Fiend route, so that they can, you know, they can get the tempo with this. So
If you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, please put it in the comment section.
we're going to be
round
going
two
live
is
with round 2
on
very
its
soon.
way. We've picked out a good one here. We've picked out Raoul Zimmerman.
Yep, so Stephen Wood versus Raoul Zimmerman. Some of you may know Raoul, some of you may not. Raoul was
It's on the World Magic Cup
on
team.
the World Magic Cup team. He was the 3rd person, I believe, to qualify.
He was. I
Yep.
remember that one. I remember that.
That was
well.
hosted by us. That was
Yeah.
me and Jonathan Partridge. Obviously, I'm not with Jonathan Partridge today. I'm with Roy.
Hey,
So we're just gonna.
Raoul was played on many Pro Tours.
Yep.
Honestly.
He's also a member of Team Axion.
Yeah.
So I believe he's probably going to be on this Mardu Ballista deck. I'm pretty sure most of them are, but we'll find out exactly what he's on soon. We're just gonna get the judges to get deck lists for us. The
His opponent is Stephen Wood. Stephen's new to me. I haven't seen Stephen before.
no,
I'm not sure what he's playing yet. We'll give you an update as soon as we get the lists, which we're working on right now. Players are just shuffling up. Stephen had that all-important game day champion playmat. I've never won game day.
no, I've come
Never
close.
ever.
I played back when I think it was with Avacyn Restored, or it might have just been before Avacyn Restored. Oh, no, it was Avacyn Restored. When it first came out, there was the Elf deck, the Elf Wave deck, that used to run Genesis Wave, and you played a load of Elves.
Yeah.
And that was really fun because you could kind of go like turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Elf Elf, turn 3 Elvish Archdruid, tap for like 15 mana, play a Village Billringer, untap all of your creatures, tap for like another 30 mana, Genesis Wave,
Yeah.
play your whole deck, Crater
Monogreen
Hoof
Devotion.
someone,
Yeah.
attack with like 3 giant Crater Hoofs and 4 elves, and work out that you just hit your opponent for 127 damage. And they
Mate,
were
in all honesty, as someone who's played at like various levels of the Magic spectrum, I love game day.
Yeah.
It's just a very cheap, fun, casual tournament. You can play a wide variety of decks.
Yeah, it's not.
Please go to your local game days.
Yep,
Please,
very
please,
rare.
please go.
Very rare that people
Even if
show
you're-
up with super competitive decks as well.
Yeah.
It's 3 weeks after the format,
Yeah.
or 4 weeks after the format. It's a week after the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
So
even go if you went onto the Pro Tour. Even if you're like a gold level pro, go because you get to interact with players. You get to teach players. You get to.
you get to see wacky ideas that people have. You know, there's always someone who, after this format, for instance, there was always someone who was playing the Paradox Enduring combo deck to try and combo and kill their opponent by drawing infinite cards and dealing infinite damage in one go. And you know, Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely fun. Absolute joy.
I,
So we're just going to get the players' deck lists.
yep, Stephen won the dice roll.
Stephen did win the dice roll, so he will be on the play.
Shay's just run off to get the deck lists. Oh. Stephen has got some spicy tech here. Is that Chandra, O for Chandra, or Carl Zev's expertise? He's got a flip card, which I think may be Avacyn. If you're playing white, it's got to be Avacyn, right? What more do you want in your life? And both players are sticking. Raul does seem to be like he's on the Sahili copycat. We have a Plains and a turn 1 Fraben Inspector. Such a good card. A Toon. He's got 3. I think Raul has 3 Felidar Guardians when he found his hand. 2 energy and a Mountain. Stephen with those monofoil original Zendikar planes getting in for 1. Alright. Mr. Holland, Shay has just returned with the deck lists. What do we have?
So Raoul Zimmerman is not
I have Rouse.
on Mardu Ballista as I thought he
He's
would
not.
be.
He's on the Jeskai copy.
He is on the Jeskai copycat.
He is. He's exactly the same list as what you saw Patel playing last round. However, his spicy little one-off is 1 Sigarda Heron's Grace.
Ooh, very interesting card. Stephen Wood is on what looks like a brew.
Yeah, Carl's
Humans.
expertise. Humans.
He's playing humans.
Yeah.
So obviously we can see the Thraben Inspector and we can see Metallic Mimic. And for those who aren't sure what Metallic Mimic does, it's a 2-mana
It's a lord, isn't
1/1.
it? Yeah.
You choose a
2/1, something
creature
like
or
that.
a 2/1. You choose a creature type. Whenever a creature of that type comes into play, it gets a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah.
Or it comes in with a +1/+1 counter.
Unfortunately, it's getting met
It is
by
getting
a harness lightning. Raul not letting us have any fun
No.
here in the booth, or his opponent have any fun.
Roll harness the lightning there.
Yeah.
He's playing Karizev Skyship Raider, which is a
That
card we
was
haven't
it.
really seen.
Oh, she brings the monkey.
Yes, she's a 3-mana 1/3.
She's a 2-mana.
2-mana
One
1/3
with menace
with menace
and
and first strike.
Yeah, it's a lot of words.
Yeah, a lot of keywords.
Look keywords.
When she attacks, she makes a 2/1 Ragamuffin or something, like
Yeah,
Ragavan or something.
Full house from Steven here.
So he's doing a lot of inspecting this
Yeah.
this game. We'll be posting standings later in the day.
It's usually best to do stand-ins every 3 or 4 rounds, depending on the.
Yeah, we tend to
the
post them
numbers.
sort of around 5, 6, and 7 because
Yeah.
obviously round 7 is the final round, so we'll see who the top 4 are. Round 6 we'll kind of see who's playing for the top 8,
Yeah.
and round 5 you can kind of get a good idea of how people are doing.
Round 5 is when people can start like double IDing or
Potentially, yeah, depending on the
depending
number
on-
of people.
depending
We don't
on
have a
number- yep,
confirmed
number
number
of
of
rounds, number of
people
people.
yet, so
So the Rogue Refiner replaced itself, get the energy, and it's a 3-on-1 battle between him and some Fraben Inspectors.
so
They're probably not going to attack. They're probably just going to be busy inspecting things behind them or on the walls.
Raoul is
Unfortunately, Stephen's got no more land, so he might be
But-
forced to crack.
I mean, he does have
Okay.
quite a few things that he can crack. So, those flip
Yeah.
the checklist cards that Stephen has in hand
Oh,
are
tell me.
now. It's
79.
okay. So sorry, we just got a confirmed number. We have 79 players today.
It's a good number.
So as I was saying, the flip card.
I'm not
is-
good. Right, let me guess.
It's one of 2 cards.
Okay, it's the Hanweir guy that flips.
It's that,
Yes!
or it could be Hanweir Militia Captain.
Woo!
And Hanweir Militia Captain is the 2-mana 2/2 that when you control 4 or more creatures, it flips. When it flips, it becomes a star with its power and toughness equal to the number of creatures you control. And at the beginning of each end step, you make
Gets
a
you a
1/1
guy.
creature. So that can grow out of control really quickly. Obviously, Raoul, most likely, I can't see. You've got his list, but I don't think he's running any Wrath effects.
He's not in the main deck, no.
So,
That's a Griff
oh,
Spoon.
Griff Spoon.
There's
Haven't
n-
seen that in a while.
He's unexpecting with a Griff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spooned it up. So let's have a look. So,
Ooh, it's
Yes.
a 1-mana flip card.
ooh.
Oh, Town
Oh,
Gossip.
Town Gossip Monger. We
Monger.
haven't seen that guy.
I haven't seen him in a while, no.
Not since the old mono white days.
Of getting flooded with all your planes. That was my. Whenever I played that deck, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep these 2 lands and 5 spells. Land, 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 land. Oh, good games, good games.
So we've got, yeah, so very low to the ground aggro deck
Ooh.
From Stephen Wood, which is
So,
very interesting.
sorry to interrupt. I just noticed a nice card in Raoul's sideboard, Woodland Wanderer.
Ooh, that's a card we haven't really seen.
He can. How big can he make that thing? It's a 2/2, right? Plus, he can make it a 5/5.
No,
No, it's
6/6.
6/6 because he's
He's playing 4 colors.
7/7 if he
No,
has
it's 4 mana.
4 mana. Yes, because you always play. Yeah, yeah. So he can make it. That's big.
Um,
And it's got trample and it's got vigilance.
yeah.
That's a spicy number for the side
And I
side deck. You
don't
know?
think he's. I'm not sure, but I don't think Stephen would actually be able. Oh, he's got 2 Declaration of Stone in his sideboard,
Fair.
so he might bring those in. But if he hasn't seen the Woodland Wanderer, he might not.
No, no, no.
So Stephen is actually playing not mono white. He's playing red white. He just unfortunately hasn't drawn any red spells. So I think both of those cards in his hand. Sorry, both of the flip cards are most likely Town Gossip Mumber because it looked like the Shadows uncommon and common flip card. Shadows had 2 flip cards, one for rare and one for non-rares. Um, and but the Eldritch Moon also had less cards and it was only on 1, I believe. So that was why I wasn't sure if it was the hand winner or if it was the militia captain or the garrison. Yeah, the garrison. He's not playing the land of the Hanway land because there was the 2 because it's not a flip card. It's the meld one.
The something township, the Riving township.
Yeah, unfortunately he's not playing that, so he can't ever flip it. But I mean, even the creature itself is quite good. I think it's a 2/3, but when it attacks, it makes 2/1/1s.
Interestingly
Powerful
enough,
card.
both players stuck on land here. Stephen has missed his 3rd and his 4th land drop. Raoul has missed his 4th.
Yeah, and for Stephen, that's not too much of a setback. He is quite low to the ground deck. His most highest costed card is his Hanway Garrison at 3.
It only becomes a problem if he doesn't have double red to cast like the steel effect or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's going to go ahead and transform the Town Gossip Monger.
Yeah, so he's not running any copy of Hanway Battlements, which was the other half of the meld card. But I mean, even still, that's still an incredibly powerful card. So he's probably hoping for like another Griff Spoon.
He just top decked it. Now he can slam that bad boy on the flipped Gossip Monger.
Yeah, for sure you do.
And he always has to attack every turn.
Yep, and it's going to be getting in for 3 every turn.
Every turn.
We do see 1 copy of Gideon as well in Stephen's deck. That's in his hand. Obviously, he's not casting it this turn because he's a little bit behind on mana. Is that Zarikev or Zarikev's Expertise? Because he is also running 1 copy of Zarikev's Expertise.
I think it's the Expertise. He looks like he's got red in it, so...
Yep, so Zarikev's Expertise is what's known as a threaten effect. It's gain control of target creature, and that creature gains haste, and you can attack, and you give it back at the end of turn. What's so powerful about this version, is that it also has this thing that they released in Aether Revolt, which is almost like I play this spell, but I can play another spell of 1 lower or less, 1 or lower, for free.
Yeah, people have been calling it the Expertise, like
Cycle.
or ability. It doesn't have a keyword yet. It might do in the future.
We never know if they decide to print more of these. It does limit how powerful an effect you can have on the front end. Barrel's Expertise is the one that we've been seeing more of than any of the others. It's 5 mana, return up to 3 target creatures or artifacts to their owner's hand. You can play something that costs 4 or less for free. Yahini's Expertise is something that hopefully we'll see at some point. My favourite card from the set. It's a 4 mana Wrath that you can also play something for 3. When you're playing something like against something like Mardu, it allows you to clear their board and then play something like Arona's Path. Or, if against an empty board, you can just drop a Liliana.
Raoul going off here, mate. Florida Guardian, blinking the land. Getting all the energy in the world, using the pair to combo off with Oath of Chandra.
Yep.
Frying the flipped Gossip Monger. What does it transform into? I haven't read the back of that card in ages.
It's
Town something. I don't know.
We're just gonna find it out for you. It's Let's take some bets. Town,
Village something.
village mob, village. Ah, incited rabble.
Oh, we were well
That
off.
was it.
Well,
So
the rabble got roasted. Apologies. Oh, he hits the land,
oh, he did hit his third land, but it's not red.
but it's not red. No, and he's stuck
So
with red cards and a
yeah,
Gideon.
he's still a little bit away from actually casting any of his red spells or
Right,
Gideon.
let's crack some clues. Let's go investigating. He
Yeah,
can still.
he drew the fourth land.
Let's be
So
fair. Raoul's on 9. He's taking 2 every turn. One threaten or one spicy card, which Raoul doesn't know about. Here's the the pros of playing a deck like Stevens. Raoul has definitely never faced it in his testing. He's
Yep.
not even considered a mono white in his mind at the moment. It's a mono white deck. This is game 1. A mono white human aggro deck.
yeah, and what's quite good is now that Steven's got this fourth land, he could play it next turn, and he can get back the Griff's Boon on another creature, so he could start attacking for 4 in the air. That's
That's
very
a
quick clock.
2 turn clock.
2 turn clock. Or he could play something like Gideon, make a creature, and then if Gideon lives,
He's going for the combo. I mean, there's no path to exile. There's no swords to plowshares. He's
unfortunately Steven didn't have any red mana. He is running 2 copies of Shock in his main, so he does have that as a potential way to deal with the combo, but that turn unfortunately he didn't. So let's look at the players' sideboards and we'll see what they could potentially be bringing in this matchup.
So Raoul has 2 Tireless Tracker, 2 Authority of the Consuls. That seems like a shoe-in. He pulled that in. All these white winnies come into play tapped. They can't do. I mean, you can't transform a Town Gossipmonger if everyone else is tapped, and the life gain is very relevant. He has 3 Negate, 1 Dispel, 2 Natural Obsolescence, 1 Natural State, 2 Woodland Wanderer. He could bring in the Woodland Wanderer just to beef and block, and it's got Vigilance, and it can trample over these little guys. 1 Sky Sovereign Consul Flagship, which is... I think if you play Standard right now, you have to have this card in your sideboard. It just nukes Planeswalkers back to the Stone Age.
Yep,
It
that's
just...
incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
It's a 5 mana 6/5 with crew of 3, which is relatively low crew for
Quite
such a
easy
big
to
creature.
do, yeah.
But when it comes in or when it attacks, it can deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. In these matchups, so especially for Raoul, he's definitely wanting that. It kills everything that Steven's going to be playing.
We see Steven's got Always Watching there,
He
but
does
Raoul don't
have-
know about that. So Raoul is unlikely to bring in enchantment removal. I mean, he did see the Griff Spoon, but it's
But
not
you
something
probably
you don't want
yeah.
to waste your thing at. Just lastly, Raoul's last card is a Baral's Expertise, which might not be great in this matchup if you're spending 5 mana to bounce 3 1/1s, but
It might be good enough.
it might be good enough to buy you that turn. He's on the draw now, so usually you want to build in something that's going to help you on the draw, which the Authority of the Consoles is going to do that. So it's going to essentially net him the life that all
Yeah.
these 1-drops are going to do.
So Steven's sideboard has 3 copies of Fragmentize, 2 Declaration in Stone, 2 Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, 2 Shock, 2 Ride Down, 1 Authority of the Consoles, 1 Thalia, Heretic Cathar, 1 Selfless Spirit, and 1 Always Watching. So cards I'm thinking of that are going to be coming in, definitely the Thalia, 100%. Most likely the 2 Shocks, just to because it stops the Sahili combo.
Does.
Because you can redirect damage to Planeswalkers, and Sahili's ability is a -1, what happens is they tick down their Sahili to a 1 to target the Felidar Guardian. In response, you shock them and redirect the damage to Sahili. Sahili dies.
So the Guardian has nothing to blink.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he doesn't know about the Woodland Wanderer, so it's a very slim chance he's going to be bringing this Declaration.
Please, come on. Woodland Wanderer beatdown.
It would be
Cool, make it 7/7.
6/6.
6/6.
6/6 is unfortunately the biggest it can be, but I mean, it's still very tough to deal with. So he might bring in something like Ride Down. Now, Ride Down, one of those cards that we haven't really seen much of. It's an instant for 1 red, 1 blue. 1 red, 1 white. Destroy target blocking creature, and any creatures that were blocked by that creature gain trample until end of turn. So, if he does bring in this Wanderer, and he attacks into the Woodland Wanderer with the Ride Down, Raoul's not going to see this coming. So what might end up happening is Stephen is blocked by the Woodland Wanderer, and he gets rode
Oh,
down,
yeah.
and then the creature still does damage over
This is
it.
amazing.
Um, so
Magical Christmas land.
it is. It's beautiful. And the Zarikev's expertise might just steal the Woodland Wanderer.
Oh my god, still your Wanderer. Bash. We
So
could be in for a good game.
yeah,
We
this
promised
could
you
be.
some good stuff.
We're hoping that this game will be, Stephen won't be stuck on mono white. Neither player's stuck on lands. A bit more of something going on in this game. But we look forward to it. So he's definitely got red mana this team. He's got a Needle Spires and an Inspiring Advantage. He's also
much
got a
better.
Shock, a 3-man Inspector, and a Metallic Mimic. So I would probably be keeping this
It's a
hand.
snap keep.
Yeah, I think I'd probably lead with the Needle Spires.
I might get on the board with the Freeman Inspector off of
You
the
think?
Inspiring Advantage.
You don't want to wait the turn to play the Inspector on turn 3, and then you can play the after the Metallic Mimic, so that your Metallic Mimic gives it a +1/+1 counter if it lives.
Well, he can play the Needle Spires on turn 3.
True.
He can go like 1-drop, 2-drop, get some beats in.
Yeah. We'll have to see what exactly his line of play is going to be. He is on the play, and that is where these more aggressive decks do want to be. And like we said, he does have this copy of Metallic Mimic and the Shock, which, as we were talking about, is very powerful. He can kill the Saheeli before they can combo off after they've ticked down with her. So Raoul unfortunately going to 6. So his hand looks to be Mountain Forest, Saheeli, Rogue Refiner, second Rogue Refiner, Whirl of Virtuoso. He's missing blue mana, but he's got 2 lands. Would you keep this? And you're on the draw. And you have
And I get a
3
scry.
draws. And you get Scry, and you have 3 draws before it's relevant.
You've got multiple fast lands. You have a Tomb with Aether.
Yep, he did keep.
You have your Grain. You have your Servant of the Conduit.
Yep. So
He can do things as well.
yeah. So Stephen deciding to go with what you said, leading with the 3-man Inspector. Raoul did draw a Oath of Chandra,
Yeah.
which is probably going to be killing this Metallic Mimic.
Stephen going with the bling bling with all these foils.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's Tomb with Aether. I told you. You got some spicy draws. You're alive for your mana. Next turn, you can play a few things.
Yeah, so he's probably going to be attuning next turn, finding up an island.
Second Needle Spires.
Yep, so Stephen a little bit flooded this game, but he's probably playing the Needle Spires, cracking the clue.
Oh.
Would you crack the clue before playing your land?
I don't think it makes any difference in this spot. Let me know if I'm wrong.
It does, because you're playing 1-drops, so you could play, because he's got planes in hand.
Oh, he does. I didn't see that. Yeah, I
So
thought he
he
had 2
could,
Needle Spires.
Yeah, so he could eventually essentially get a 1-drop and then play that. But opting, he instead drew a Metallic Mimic. So not really what he wants, but probably going to see an attune into a island here, and then Raoul kind of going off
Be
next
able
turn.
to cast anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
There'll be shields down though. He's got no way to interact, right? At the moment, does he have Harness Lightning in his hand? I don't think he does. So Stephen is free to deploy whatever he wants.
Yeah. So if Steven's able to get a couple humans this turn, it could be very powerful for him. Unfortunately, this Oath of Chandra might be getting flickered next turn. Otherwise, this Whirl of Virtuoso is going to be coming down and.
He doesn't have the mana
Stopping
to
that.
flicker it at the moment. He doesn't
No,
have the white mana.
he doesn't. He is missing white. So if he draws a white source, he would be able to. But if not, Raoul is probably playing at least the Whirl of Virtuoso, maybe the Rogue Refiner.
Oh, he's just.
Oh, he's just drawn Zarikev. So that's a good one.
He has options.
He does have a few options. I think I lead with the Zar. I think
He can play 2/2-drops.
he can.
He
so
can play
the
1
Metallic Mimic,
2-drops and hold up Shock. But
or
holding up Shock doesn't really do much when you know.
not right now.
When your opponent's got an empty board and not going to do anything with it.
Yeah, I think I'm playing the Metallic Mimic and then naming human and then dropping Zarikev.
I run out both.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
Play-
sorry. Yeah.
And then trigger
Triggers.
a 2/4 Zarikev with first strike and menace.
Menace.
Oh, this is what we really enjoy. This is what we love to see. These interesting homebrew decks. This this Rogue Refiner's coming down. This Zarek Hev unfortunately is not going to be blocked, so it's going to be getting in for some damage. Um, and I
Sending
think
the monkey as well.
oh he drew a
He could just shock this and attack with everything. How much damage is that? Two, three, four,
four, five,
five, six,
six,
seven,
seven.
and then the monkey, 8, 9. Do
No,
they
no,
all
no,
get plus one, plus one? Is
no,
it
no, no.
counters or all?
Counters. They
Oh,
all
it's
get
not. Oh, they
counters.
get counter.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I thought it was like a lord.
No. So he could shock. I quite
Mm.
like shock here actually. Because Raoul missed his land drop,
He did.
so you know that he's down 2 lands
Oh,
now.
oh man, you
Oh,
can.
he's down at least 1 land.
He is going to shock. Next
Yeah.
turn, you got needle spires to crash in. It's going to be a lot of damage, and he's not going to be able to put multiple blockers down
No.
unless it's a.
Oh, it's a Thalia's Lieutenant.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
Multiple triggers.
So that gets a plus on it, plus
we
one
really
itself.
see Steven's deck going off
And
now.
yep, we see the Zarikev, and the mimic becomes the creature type, I believe.
It does. It does. You name a creature type, and it becomes it.
Yep. In addition to its other types. So, wow,
lot of
this is
damage
a lot
here.
of damage. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, dropping that Raoul to 7.
The best thing Raul can do, with what I see from his deck, is play a Whirler Virtuoso. He'll go up to 7 energy, which he can make 2 Fopters, but all those Fopters are doing at the moment are chumps.
Yep. And unfortunately,
And he has that Needle Spires.
yeah, I think it might be just lethal next turn.
It might be lethal.
Um,
Raul didn't get the 4th land. He's going to
he's
go
going
with
for
it.
another tune. This does bring you up to 9 energy though, if
That
he plays the Whirler Virtuoso. So
That
he
Attune
does.
was a good top deck.
Yep, that was very powerful.
It's the one way he can block enough creatures and stay on enough.
Yeah, and if he lives this turn, then he can play his Oath of Chandra. He can Felidar Guardian, potentially the Oath of Chandra. It's very tough because whatever he's kind of
You've got to try.
yeah.
You can't just yep, I concede.
Because this Zari Kev unfortunately is almost guaranteed to get through because it's got Menace. So blocking it is incredibly difficult. You're kind of forcing 2 creatures to block it, which is just too many at this stage. So it's almost guaranteed damage at this point. So we're probably going to be seeing a.
The Whirler can block things without dying too. It can block the Farley's Lieutenant. It's only a 2/2. It can block the
Although
Raven Inspector.
if he plays another creature,
Oh my god, yeah, we don't see what Stephen top deck.
I think he just top decked the Town Gossipmonger. So if he has another planes or another
He
land,
does.
and if he has the
Magical
Gossipmonger,
Christmas land.
oh, I don't think he's got the Gossipmonger.
Hello. Needle Spires looks like a fox to me. It looks like some crazy fox thing.
Oh, I've been told apparently it's Karizev, not Zari Kev.
Okay, my bad. Or
My
his
bad.
bad.
Both of our bads.
Both bad.
So I think you have to block one on the Needle Spires, one on the Mimic.
For sure block Needle Spires. Try to make it so your Virtuoso kills something and doesn't die, so you can blink it for more, more blockers
More
and more
blockers next
energy.
turn.
Should you want to do that, it's always worth having the options. Is there any way where he can trade with 2 Fopters onto one thing?
Maybe on the Metallic Mimic.
You can put 2 Fopters in front of the Mimic. You can put 1 in front of the Ragafan, or
No, because
No,
he's
no.
only got 3 Thopters, so he'll have to put
So-
2 in front of the Mimic,
1 in front of something else, and
one in
takes.
front of the Needle Spires, and then he takes.
Three,
oh no,
four,
he takes
five.
lethal.
Oh, it's 5, right?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because this Ragavin has not
How many
actually
Fop?
blocked.
He's got
3 Thopters.
3 Fopters.
So this has to block something with 2 power. So he's going to take 5. He's going to fall to 2. We can't actually see the cards, as you can see from the screen. It's quite difficult to read exactly what the cards are, and I'd been misreading this on the sheet, and I was probably never going to reread it properly. So
Right, so 2 damage, 3, 4, 5 damage through to Raoul, putting him at 2, making shock or any other direct damage burn spell off the top lethal. Monkey dies, Valiant Monkey, but he's still got 4 attackers,
4 attackers.
of which
next
one
turn.
has Menace.
Yeah.
So he has to play the Guardian, blink Oath of Chandra to fry Karizev,
It can't. It's a
Oh,
3-4 or 3-5 at the moment because it's a
oh, it's a 1
1-3.
3.
It's yeah.
I
For some reason, it's
think
huge.
I think it might be going to game 3.
Yep, she's a 1-3 and she's got two +1/+1 counters on her at the moment. So, and this is something that we don't really see much of, or too much of anymore in standard. Is these creatures that also do things,
Mm.
that attack with friends almost. You had Rabble Master, you had um, Hero of Bladehold, all of these creatures that would kind of make tokens. That's kind of fallen off a little bit. Carrie Zev obviously is back. She's doing her thing again. She's making some monkeys. They're killing people.
Rao's opted to try to draw a land so we can have 2 blockers and Harness Lightning up.
Unfortunately, it looks like he's just drawn 2 tap lands. He's drawn 2 of his fast lands that obviously are going to be coming into play tapped. Um, can't see what Stephen drew.
I think Stephen knows he's in the clear.
I think, yeah, I think he
He's
knows.
got the read.
Even with a shock, I don't think Raul will be
No.
able to do it.
He's obviously tested this deck.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's dead.
Raul
Just
going with the
going
fake
through
out.
the motions.
Going with the old tap my mountain and pick everything up.
And lightning bolt myself.
So Stephen Wood going to evening the score up. Raul might now change his sideboard a little bit because he's seen some more of
Raoul
the
did not bring in the authority of the consoles. He didn't think the life game was worth it.
interesting. So and he didn't bring in the barrel's expertise either. Be
Shay, do you
interesting to
want
see
to
what he brought in.
do you want to go through the interaction between Manlands and authority of the consoles for the viewers at home? Does the creature come into play tapped or untapped? When a manland, when you activate a manland and you have
It's
authority,
already in play.
it's already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. I was just for
so
some people. Because
so
I've seen this at F&M. Animate my manland. Oh, it comes into play tapped. It's not entering play. It's already into play. Some
yeah,
people forget stuff like that.
yeah. So the creature is already in play, so to speak.
Yep.
It's the land itself. So the land itself comes into play tapped,
Yep.
but then when it turns into a creature, it doesn't magically leave the battlefield and come back as a
Yeah.
creature or anything like that. So
It's something I've seen new players. It's weird because it's like it becomes this in becoming something. It's there.
yeah.
It's
So Stephen deciding what he's going to board out. It looks like he's boarding out Carrie Zev. I'm not sure I like that.
no, bring back the Monkey Queen, the Monkey
Because
Captain.
she did some serious work
She
that game.
did, she did.
Um,
Oh, you got a 3/3, you got a 2/3 blocker? Yeah, in. And my monkey. It's good because the monkey can trade with Rogue Refiner, so it makes the card it draws like only not a full card, half a card, because you trade with a token that's coming back next turn.
Yeah, I mean the token itself is, I mean it's only around for a turn anyway, but it's one of those ones that you kind of, if you block it, it's probably trading up.
Yeah.
If you don't block it, then you're taking 2. It's like either way, it's a shock. Do you know what I mean?
So if you're Raul, you're a player who's played on multiple Pro Tours. You've got one of the best decks in the format, and you're 1-1 going into Game 3 at the regional in round 2 against an unknown opponent and a deck you've never faced before. What's going through your head? What do you think?
Why do I not have Radiant Flames in my sideboard?
Radiant. Yeah. Damn those Radiant Flames.
um, yeah, unfortunately, nobody's really playing many Wrath effects at the moment. We do see the odd 2 or 3 copies of Fumigate in the Mardu Ballista decks, only for the mono red, not the mono red, sorry, either the mirror if they get behind or the green black matchups. But Radiant Flames is one of those cards that few months ago it was 4 of in almost, or 3 or 4 of in every deck, and then it kind of fell off the radar. So we're hoping that.
I mean, being on the play is much better against an aggro deck because you can get that 2/3 down a turn earlier. You know, on turn 3, it can block things.
Other than carries F.
Carries there, yeah.
It could mean that he could get something like a turn 3 6/6 Woodland Wanderer if he's boarded them in.
Mm.
I think for sure you're boarding them in this matchup. You haven't seen any hard removal from your opponent. You've only seen shocks, so you're probably thinking, oh, he doesn't really have anything.
Mm.
Stephen may or may not have left in the expertise. I think he has to have left in the expertise. I think it's just too powerful to not leave in. Um,
It might be a card that's better on the draw because you let
yep,
them play something decent, which they think is
exactly.
going to be the haymaker to stop, and then you steal it.
Yep. So Stephen's hand looking.
Is it Plains
It
Light?
was
He
Plains Light.
quickly
So
ships that back.
yeah.
Oh no, he's
Oh
moving his
no,
deck.
he's
Sorry.
thinking.
I can see a mountain.
I can definitely see him now. He's
Nah,
sending it back.
he's sending it back.
I think if he had a planes, he was probably snap keeping the hand because he could have gone turn 1 Thraben Inspector, turn 2 Thalia's Lieutenant, turn 3
Yep.
something, you know, kind of. Oh, it's just replacing a split sleeve.
Curse you, Ultra Pro. The bane of my existence.
Yeah, they do.
Do you know what? I hope in about 40 years' time. No, let's go 50. In about 50 years' time, when I die, God says to me, "Do you want to know how many cards you sleeved up?" And I'll be like, "Please tell me, because I want to know the exact number of how many cards I put into a sleeve." And it's
Yeah,
going to be huge.
it's going to
It's
be
going to be
huge.
huge. It's the little things like that.
The amount of times I've unsleeved my deck and re-sleeved a different deck,
Yeah.
and then unsleeved that deck and re-sleeved the original deck, is countless.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's at least. Each one of those is like 120 each iteration of that, so
Mm.
or 150 with sideboard. So, and then helping each other sleeve and stuff like that. You know, wow.
When your best mate's like, "Can you help me sleeve my brand new commander deck?" And you're like, yeah, sure, I'm not doing anything."
God
Oh, wait
damn
a
it,
minute,
Sammy.
my mum's just called me. I'm just going to take a phone call from my mum. I can't help you. Alright, Ether Hub, Tendo Ice Bridge, copy. Coming down, a Tomb with Ether for a forest.
So this is one of those awkward things with most of the, obviously not with this deck, but some of the other decks that are running Ether Hub, is you play it on turn 1 and you use it for coloured mana and you don't have any energy. Luckily Raoul is playing an energy deck, so his Attune with Ether fetches him a land and also gives him 2 energy to activate his Ether Hub again. So here we're seeing turn 2 Servant of the Conduit. Raoul got 4 energy. Now, does he have Woodland Wanderer? This is the question that we're asking ourselves.
And do you shock this?
And I think you do.
I think you. I
I
think,
think you have to.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's really shockable.
Oh no, he's going
it-
for a. This is the Hanway Militia Captain.
It is.
Unfortunately for Stephen, Raoul does have the Harness Lightning in hand. So
Stephen wants to build up his board presence before he commits to anything. But Raoul's got just the Tomb with Ethers in his hand.
no, he's got a Oath of Liliana as well. Oath of
Oh
Nissa
no,
as
no,
well.
I meant like he's got no. Yeah, he doesn't have physical lands. He has to play cards before he can get
Yep.
a land drop. Which, if he did shock that servant, it would really constrict on what he could do this turn.
Yeah.
But then Stephen couldn't really play any other one drops. I don't think he's got any other
No.
one drops in his hand.
I think
So
I think if I'm Raoul here, I'm probably going Attune, fetch up an island or a mountain, um, Oath of Lily, sorry, Oath of Nissa, to kind of get something else, maybe like a Planeswalker or something to do next turn, and then Harness Lightning this Hanway Hot Watch Captain before it gets
precise. He's
too
got
big.
multiple things he can do. He can attune for a mountain, shock that, tap the servant for
The Oath.
for the oath, and do all this stuff. I like that play.
I think that's probably,
Also, it's an instant, so you can block something, tap,
and then
harness.
do it. Yeah. I think we're probably seeing this Town Gossip Monger flipping this turn, which means that it's not the only thing it's going to be blocking would be trading, and I don't think he wants to trade at this point. I think he's happy keeping this servant out here for now. I don't know, maybe he'll block next turn, block the Hanway next turn, trade them off, and then. Yeah, so he's going for the Harness Lightning here. Oh no, he's going for. Is he going to go for Whirler Virtuoso? Yep, he's going for. Oh, Rogue Refiner.
Rogue Refiner.
Interesting. So, wanting to get that 3/2 on board, it kind of, I guess, it kind of stops the the Town Gossipmonger from flipping. Uh, nope, Steven's still going to do it. He's going to flip the Town Gossipmonger.
And
He's going
he
to
may just
incite
go
some
ahead and
Ravels.
shock, yeah.
And then, yeah, shock the Rogue Refiner, getting for 4 damage.
It's a decent amount.
Pretty. He's just drawn a Plains, so he can go.
He can do a lot now.
He can go Thalia's Lieutenant and shock, which is.
That's
brutal.
the thing about Steven's deck that we see. It does big chunks of damage from out of nowhere.
Yeah. And this is what these low to the ground mono white, or in this case red white, these human decks tend to do. So it looks like he's probably thinking of doing Thalia's Lieutenant plus shock. Keeps that Hanwha alive, keeps his rabble alive, which is very powerful.
Here comes the counters.
Here comes the counters, and he's gonna go for. Is he gonna go for the shock? Yeah, there we go.
Bye bye Rogue Refiner.
Bye bye Rogue Refiner.
Go and refine something somewhere else.
And get in for 6. So Raul's at 14 on turn 3, which isn't that aggressive for an aggro deck, but he's quite behind. He's quite far behind. He does have a removal spell in hand. He does have an Oath of Oath of Nissa that he can play. I keep saying Lily, and you know, so Raul decided to bring in Natural States. Maybe just for the Grift Spoon, because he realizes he's probably going to lose to Flyers otherwise. Maybe he has an idea that his opponent's playing Always Watching. If your opponent's playing white and they're playing a lot of creatures, they're probably playing Always Watching.
Yeah, Raul just drew Natural State, which will deal with an Always Watching if it comes down. He correctly anticipated.
He does have a second copy of Harness Lightning.
He can just fry 2 creatures now.
Yeah, I think that's probably what he's going to have to do. Otherwise, it's going to be, too much damage coming in.
Yeah, too much stuff is going to be on the battlefield. He's going to get overwhelmed.
I do apologise for keep saying Oath of Lily. Obviously, Liliana is my favourite planeswalker.
Always on Shay's mind.
Always on my mind. She is the last hope. She is the Veil. She is the Dark Realm. She is Liliana. She's such a powerful planeswalker throughout the history of Magic that, and obviously she has an oath that's heavily played at the moment with the.
She's his screensaver on his phone, on his laptop, on his computer, his home PC, on his PS4 account.
Alright, don't need to tell him everything, Roy.
He's got a t-shirt with her on his playmat, his sleeves. Here comes the double Harness Lightning.
Yeah, so
he's going to net a lot of energy from this as well.
Well, no, he's not. He's actually going to lose energy.
Oh, he lost one. Yeah, they were.
He lost one for tapping it.
Yeah.
And he lost another one for.
He's got plenty of
going,
energy.
and then the other one he had to use all 3 energy to kill. So, I mean, he's still got 4 energy left, but that was still quite a bit. Oh, and there's the Always Watching. Steven's got the Always Watching in hand.
Counters.
So we're going to see a 3-minute Inspector pumping that Lieutenant, attacking him for 2, and
this deck can like grind. Steven's deck can.
Yeah, I mean it's.
At one moment it can just do like 6, 7 points, 8 points worth of damage, and at the other moment it can just like, I'm going to hit you for 1 and hit you for 2. I'm going to draw a card and I'm going to enjoy my life.
Yeah. So
is that Barrel's expertise?
It is.
He did build it in.
He did build it in.
To be fair, it's much better on the play.
When I keep saying Oath of Liliana, I'm talking about Oath of Nissa, which is in the 4-color Saheeli deck. Raul probably isn't casting anything with black mana, unless it's a planeswalker like Sorin, because obviously the Oath of Nissa lets him do that easily, but he's not playing Oath of Liliana. That's just me not being able to think properly a lot of the time. So
we're coming down up to 6 energy.
Up to 6 energy, and Raul looks like he's stabilizing.
Virtuoso is so good at blocking.
Well, the Virtuoso is very good at blocking, but I think.
Ooh, a Mimic.
I think there's a Mimic, and he drew something else. I couldn't quite see what it was.
He does have Always Watching in his hand, actually.
Yeah, I think he might have drawn a Town Gossipmonger. So he could just play the Mimic.
That seems
as
like
a
good
human,
play. That seems like a good play.
Which buffs his Thalia's Lieutenant.
Yep.
Then he plays the Town Gossipmonger.
Which He gets
buffs
a
his,
counter.
he gets a counter, and the lieutenant gets another counter.
Yeah.
Lieutenant attacks for 4,
Yep.
which means that if Raoul wants to kill it, he has to make 2 Thopters and triple block.
Yep. And then next turn he has 3 to 4 creatures.
Yep,
Assuming nothing dies, he has 4. And always watching comes down, and
yep. Although Raoul does have
he does,
he
but
does have the natural state.
that'll confine his mana. I mean, he's only got 3 lands, and he's gone
Ooh,
for the
authority.
what has been in his hand since the start of the game.
So Raoul's gonna respond by making a Thopter. He wants that in
It's a
on
Gyarados
It
Thopter.
is a Gyarados. Gyarados doesn't have flying though.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
It can kind of fly. It just like swims wherever it wants. Swims in the air, right? I remember when my friend, when I was in secondary school, cracked his Gyarados. I was so envious.
So, yeah, I thought it was a as it comes in, you name a creature type. Because typically those kind of cards, some of them are, especially like clone effects like that. So that was my mistake.
I was just
Not knowing
focusing
the
on
card.
the Gyarados. You know, look at this thing. That Gyarados is going to be raging because it has Dragon Rage. No? Anyone? Okay. Sodgers.
Just you, Roy.
Just me. Here comes Chandra. Ooh, which is it's going to nuke something, or it's going to go up and harness
It's going to go
lightning.
up and harness. No, oath into. Oh, the
Bye-bye,
poor Thalia's
Lieutenant.
lieutenant.
You can go and inspect something as well. You must be friends with
Thalia,
Thalia or the Inspector.
maybe.
They go to the same like poker club or something.
They're all They're all from Thraben,
They're
right?
all, yeah, they're all in Australia. They're all from Thraben. They've got to do something with their time. Always watching gives him some decent attacks. No, he doesn't.
No.
No, the 2-1s.
It becomes a 3-2 and a 2-4. Sorry, 2-3. Neither of which really can kill Chandra. I guess the Virtuoso would probably just trade with the Mimic. He might play.
I want him to make more tokens. I want to see some more old school Pokemon cards. I recently sold all mine. I found them in my mother's loft, and she was like, "Oh, do you still want these Pokemon cards?" I'm like, "Oh yeah."
All of my Pokemon cards were given away.
No.
I know, I was very upset.
When customers come into my shop and they say, "Oh, my parents chucked away all my Magic cards from like 1996," and I'm just like, "Oh,
I know.
oh man, I feel for you. I feel for you." With any card game, really. My mum chucked away all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards that were in my basement. No. Chucking away your childhood there, or your teenage years at some point.
So we're gonna see. I think the always watching coming down now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Raoul's had a pretty good draw this game.
He's decided to swing with both creatures.
Yeah.
This is going to allow
Both
Raoul
at Chandra.
He has to, otherwise she's just going to start nuking things.
Yeah.
She's going to start charring things. I wonder, did Stephen take 2 damage from the Earth for Chandra? Did they remember that? That must be where the 2 damage come from,
Yeah,
right?
it must have been. So he's going to actually double block this Thraben Inspector. I quite like that, actually. The Thraben Inspector is just going to... not going to be able to kill... It's only going to be able to kill the Thopter, which isn't that great. Unfortunately, Raoul doesn't have the mana to Kitty combo this turn. Kitty combo, as it's known as. But I think he's probably... he's got... He just drew Sky Sovereign,
Which
so he's going to be able to cast that this turn.
Chandra's so good. When I saw this
Chandra's
card,
so powerful.
I remember it was pre-selling for like, $40 plus.
Oh no, he is going to be able to, because he's got the Chandra.
He's going to blink Chandra.
Blink Chandra, plus Chandra again,
Yep.
place a Healy, and then
That's going to...
that's lethal.
He's won because he's got...
Oh no, he can't because of the authority.
That's true.
Oh no, he's got the lateral state.
He does have... But I don't think he can do it all, right?
Yes, he can, because he's
Oh,
got 2
yeah,
from
yeah.
the Chandra, 1 from the
Yeah.
thing, and because of the Oath of Nissa, it doesn't matter what the colours are. So there's the Healy. He's got green mana for the authority. And
Bye-bye, Authority.
Bye-bye authority, and
Thanks for playing.
thanks for playing.
Stephen just checking what the card does, making sure he's got all the mana for
Yeah,
it.
he's trying to.
You got to check.
Yeah. Yep. And
GG's.
very interesting deck from Steven,
It
though.
was good.
We're just going to bring it back into the booth. So, very interesting game.
Good to see something different. We've seen
Yeah.
something different every round.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it has been losing, but we're trying.
Showing the power of the Sahili deck. Last round we showed the power of the Sahili deck followed by the Mardu deck.
We'll
beating
try and
the
get
Sahili
something
deck.
different on this round.
We will try and
Try and
have a
get
scout
something.
round. We've
Yeah.
got a bit more time this turn,
We
game, sorry.
do.
The end of this round. So we're
Yeah.
going to try and actually look and see if there's anything doing well
Yep.
that we can feature that's not one of the big three.
Yep.
So thank you very much for joining us. We're just going to take you to the holding screen for now.
Yep, we're just
and
going to
then
scour
we'll
around.
just have a scout round,
Yeah.
have a look what we can, and see you all in a bit.